All right. So, hi everyone. Very good evening to all of you. I hope everyone is good. So, this is another session of PIB, of daily PIB, where we are actually going to decode 5 news today. All right. In our daily PIB session, you people already know that we take into consideration every important news which is important from the examination perspective. With the filter, with the proper filtration, we ensure that we are decoding each and every news in the simplest way so that you people also understand it. Along with that, I tell you people that how you can utilize this news from your examination perspective also, right? So this is the same thing we are going to see today as well. This is 19th of November, and here we are going to start with one of the news which is specifically related to survey on migration, right? Now here, when I talk about this migration survey, yes, it is going to take place, and basically NSO has demanded what? That is recommendations from people, right? Experts also, that how we should conduct this particular survey, and that is what is the entire news. So the entire news is around the survey part itself, right? Along with that, second news says that DPDP rules 2025 has been notified now. Now, this is one of the acts which have been taken into consideration from the time period of 2023 itself, but now, finally, it has been notified as well, right? So, this is what, we are actually going to cover today. Next news is specifically on 16th Finance Commission submits report for 31 as well. When I talk about Finance Commission specifically, so basically this is a kind of body, I would say very strong body, who decides the allocation of what? That is the amount which is being earned by the central government, right? Hi Kivalin, very good evening. All right. So when I talk about the amount which is collected by the central government, and that too from the means of taxes itself, फाइनेंस कमीशन इज द वन हु डिसाइड्स कि जो हमारी स्टेट गवर्नमेंट है उसको कितना अमाउंट जाएगा, जो हमारी म्युनिसिपल, जो हमारी डिसेंट्रलाइज्ड गवर्नमेंट है उनको कितना अमाउंट जाएगा, ठीक है. सो 15th फाइनेंस कमीशन से क्वेश्चन जो है वो प्रीवियसली भी पूछे गए हैं. हाय शिवम, राधे राधे. 15th फाइनेंस कमीशन से प्रीवियसली भी क्वेश्चंस पूछे गए हैं. अभी जो हमारा 16th फाइनेंस कमीशन जो साइकिल है, इट इज गोइंग टू बी स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम 26 से लेके 31 तक, राइट? सो येस, दिस इज इंपॉर्टेंट फ्रॉम द एग्जामिनेशन पर्सपेक्टिव. मे बी इफ यू द वन हु इज गोइंग टू अपेयर फॉर यूपीएससी एग्जाम्स नेक्स्ट ईयर, या फिर इफ यू द वन हु इज अपेयरिंग, हु इज प्लानिंग टू अपेयर फॉर 2026 एग्जामिनेशन, हाई चांस क्वेश्चन कैन बी आस्क्ड. इस साल के लिए भी थोड़ा सा जो आइडिया है वो एकदम कंसीडर करके रखना, ठीक है? ऑलराइट, नेक्स्ट इज अबाउट द इंडियाज ट्रेड परफॉर्मेंस. व्हाई आई हैव टेकन दिस इनटू कंसीडरेशन? ऑफ कोर्स दिस इज अ क्वार्टरली रिव्यू व्हिच इज इंपॉर्टेंट. और उसके साथ अगर मैं इस पर्टिकुलर डेटा की बात करूं, देखो क्वेश्चन हो सकता है ट्रेड को लेकर आ जाए, हो सकता है क्वेश्चन जो है वो जो हमारा बजट सरप्लस है उसको लेकर आ जाए. बजट सरप्लस से भी कम आएगा, बट ट्रेड बैलेंस जो है हो सकता है ऐसे जो टर्मिनोलॉजीज है आपको उनसे क्वेश्चन जो है दे कैन आस्क यू, राइट? दैट इज व्हाट आई हैव रिटन हियर. अलॉन्ग with that, high chance of question can be asked in phase 1 also. Directly they can ask you that what is the trade status today? Is merchandise more or maybe services more? They can ask you about the numbers also, because mostly we've seen कि numbers say they ask you a question. That is the reason I've taken recent data here, right? Next, very important one, that is Electronics Development Fund, right? I'll tell you there are actually 3 to 4 terminologies associated with it. And I'll tell you in a very, very simplest manner, right? I have like proper, after, actually properly thinking on it, I've taken into consideration the simplest example through which you will be able to, understand difficult concepts also. For example, fund on funds, we are having other like parent fund ho gaya, daughter funds ho gaye. These are the, terminologies which you people will be able to, decode, which you people be able to, remember as well. All right. At last, we'll do questions. We'll try to solve questions also. All of the new joinees here, this is the link of my Telegram channel, which is Economy with Payal. So if you're interested, of course, you can join this channel, which is Economy with Payal. All right. So the first news says survey on migration is basically going to take place. And when I talk about this particular survey, this is a news which has been announced by NSS itself, which is National Sample Survey, and which comes or which is run by whom? That is NSO, which comes under specific ministry, which is Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, MOSPI, right? This is what you people need to remember. अब basically होने क्या वाला है? Actually, NSO say that we are all ready to conduct one broader or large scale survey specifically on migration, right? Now here when I talk about survey on migration, see why it is important and how it is going to help the entire economy, plus policy makers also to make free, to make policies, to make certain policies, and that too according to the situation itself, right? So यहाँ पे अगर मैं NSA की बात करूँ, so of course which is part of the broader ministry, I've already told you it is associated with Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Basically जो सर्वे है वो कंडक्ट करने जा रहे हैं. अब ये जो है वो इम्पोर्टेंट क्यों है, एक न्यू डेडिकेटेड सर्वे है, ठीक है, एंड दैट टू ऑन अ स्पेसिफिक कैटेगरी हियर, दैट इज माइग्रेशन. इसका गोल बेसिकली क्या है कि हमारी जो भी हम पॉलिसी मेकिंग करते हैं या फिर जो भी डिसीजन लिया जाता है, जो भी स्कीम्स जो है वो इम्प्लीमेंट करी जाती है, वॉट एवर स्कीम इम्प्लीमेंटेशन टेक्स प्लेस, राइट, we have to ensure that we know about the area as well, right? After taking it, for example, you're making strategy for your exam, right? I'm just taking simplest examples so you people understand. Before you make strategy of your exam, you go through each and every detailed part of that particular exam, right? You go through the every, like for example, this is RBI itself, right? RBI may, if you're the one who's preparing for RBI, so you will ensure that you know how many disciplines are the one, right? You will get to know that you will just ensure that I should have clarity about each and every discipline. You will try to analyze this also. If I'm strong in finance, if not finance, if I am strong in maybe quants, if I'm strong in 3 of the subjects, so that is QRE, या फिर जो मैं strong part मेरा ESI में, you will try to analyze everything, right? Along with that, you will try to see कि what is the cutoff, what was the cutoff previous year, what is today's cutoff as in 2025, right? So you try to analyze each and everything, then only you do policy making, right? Then only you make plan for yourself. So this is a similar thing which is happening here as well, right? We want to get clear data about migration, that how many people are actually getting migrated, what is the reason behind it, why they are even moving, right? What are the areas where they are preferring to go, what is the pattern of movement, right? Is it rural to rural migration, is it rural to cities migration, yeah, is it in another way, is it urban to rural also, right? So we are going to implement things, we are going to actually cover it very comprehensively, right? What are the characteristics of migrants, what are the failure of the families who are left behind? So these are the things which we are going to cover here, right? उसके साथ साथ होगा क्या, क्यों सर्वे इंपॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि जो पॉलिसी मेकिंग है ना, दैट कैन हैपन इन अ वेरी वेरी बेटर वे. Of course, when I talk about the migration here, we will have a targeted interventions also, and that on a specific areas as well, right? So that is the reason it is very important. For example, I get to know that people who used to live in Bengaluru now, they are now residing or they are now shifting towards the other area. So I'll get to know that now people are not at all liking to live in Bengaluru here, but they are liking more to maybe reside in maybe connecting areas for say, right? So I'll get to know that there is one problematic situation with the urban planning. So whatever policy making will be done now, it will be done accordingly only, right? Policy makers will always keep that data into consideration before they make plan, right? They'll always consider that yes, this is the reality. People are now migrating from Bengaluru maybe to another, like to maybe to other regions, which are actually very peaceful, which are actually very safe, and which are actually less expensive also. So they will get to know that while making Bengaluru, or maybe specifically when they are planning for Bengaluru, they'll just try to consider this data, right? They'll try to consider that yes, this is a problematic situation which people are facing. I need to give corrective measures here. So that is the reason it is actually very important. Uske साथ साथ maybe they will observe that people are migrating maybe more like more to Pune या फिर Hyderabad वाले areas में. Now people are migrating there. So I'll get to know कि माइग्रेटिंग या फिर अगर जो हैदराबाद है वो थोड़ा सा इमर्जिंग सिटी जो है वो होगी, ठीक है. सो व्हाट आई विल क्रिएट देयर, आई विल ट्राई टू क्रिएट एम्पल ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटीज देयर, आई विल ट्राई टू इन्वेस्ट, I'll try to attract a lot of investment there so that people come here, right? I want to invite people there if I see that that particular economy is actually growing, right? And for example, we get to know that whosoever people who are left behind, for example, people are migrating from rural areas towards maybe urban areas for say, right? This is just an example. So I'll see that what is the impact of this migration on those people who are left out behind, right? So of course social security becomes necessary here, so I'll take care of that as well, right? उसके बाद अगर मैं economic understanding की बात करूँ, so I'll get to know that as well. Are people liking urbanization more, या फिर are people like more attracted, are getting more attracted towards the peaceful areas, maybe urban areas, right? So I'll get to know the pattern as well. So why it is here? Because basically NSO is the one who's currently working on it, right? This is just the drafting stage. and NSO is the one who's inviting public output also, that what should be done, right? The request has been given to the public, which includes experts here, which includes public, which includes scholars as well. Basically, NSO is demanding what? That is feedback from them. What do you think? How should I implement it? What do you think? What can be like better case when I'm talking about the survey here that has to be taken, right? So this is what is the entire news. I've given you complete crux of the news. I've told you already, like I've given you entire, when we when I say कि हाँ जो entire news का जो crux है ना, जो निचोड़ है, वो मैंने आपको यहीं पे दे दिया है कि क्यों सर्वे हम कंडक्ट कर रहे हैं, क्या इसके बेनिफिट्स हैं, क्यों ये इंपॉर्टेंट है, क्यों होना चाहिए, क्यों हमारी इकोनॉमी के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है. सो आई हैव टोल्ड यू एवरी पॉसिबल थिंग हियर ओनली, एंड आई होप यू पीपल अंडरस्टैंड एज वेल, राइट? Now, why did I consider telling you here itself? Why do I tell you the entire story before I go towards the text? So that after you read the text, you better understand it, right? So it is actually going to like give you double revision as well, right? Now, one of the things I've already given you, right? I have already explained you every part, so you got an idea that what this news is specifically in these areas. So as in when you go through the text it will be very, very easy for you people to understand the entire text. And of course, as in when you go through it, of course, you will double revise it also, right? So this is the purpose here. I have told you already, NS is the one who initiated it. Of course, when I talk about the NSS here, which is sample survey, it is conducted by NSO, which comes under further ministry, which is MOSPI, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, right? This is something which you people need to remember. Focus areas kiske upar hai? The focus areas are specifically on migration. Further, it includes what? That is specific parts. For example, household consumption survey that takes place, right? What we get to know and why it is actually important. To get to know that where are households spending? What is their expenditure? Are they spending more on clothes? Or are they spending more on food? Are they spending more on beverages? Or are they spending more on healthy diets? These are the ideas that I usually get here, right? Now, when I talk about the survey here, that is going to be conducted, that is going to be included 2026 till 2027. Of course, it is actually going to include migration part itself, right? The impact. What is the pattern? Is like, are people migrating rural to rural areas? Are people migrating rural to city areas? Are people migrating maybe urban to cities or like urban to rural as well? So the condition can be another way also. This is what I need to realize here. उसके साथ साथ अगर मैं माइग्रेशन सर्वे की बात करूं, सो दिस इज द 9th राउंड हियर सिंस 1955 वी आर कंडक्टिंग इट. डेडिकेटेड जो माइग्रेशन राउंड्स है, 18th राउंड जो है वो अगर मैं स्पेसिफिकली 18th राउंड की बात करूं, 1963 से लेके 64 तक हुआ था. 64th राउंड 2007 से लेके 2008 तक हुआ था. रीसेंट सोर्सेज की अगर मैं बात करूं, PLFS जो है वो बहुत ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट होता है आपके एग्जामिनेशन पर्सपेक्टिव से. दिस इज ऑल अबाउट द पैटर्न्स हियर, राइट? आई नीड टू एनालाइज द पैटर्न इटसेल्फ. व्हाट इज द पैटर्न हियर? इंटरस्टेट माइग्रेशन फ्लोज कैसे है, रीजंस क्या है, व्हाट इज द ड्यूरेशन ऑफ पैटर्न, रिटर्न माइग्रेटिंग पैटर्न्स क्या है, एम्प्लॉयमेंट प्रोफाइल्स ऑफ माइग्रेशन क्या है, इनकम कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स क्या है, इम्पैक्ट क्या पड़ता है हाउस होल्ड्स के ऊपर हु आर लेफ्ट बिहाइंड, राइट? What are the indicators of labor mobility and urbanization as well, remittance behavior. Along with that, I need to take into consideration the social as well as economic integration of migrants also, because if you people remember, India is actually rich in casual labors, right? And one mistake that we've made during COVID-19 period, of course, lockdown was one of the best decisions, and I think that was purposeful also, right? But one thing where we lagged behind, policymakers, when they implemented the plan, right? Policymakers, when they thought of closing the entire economy for say, right? When they thought of specifically the closing the entire economy, of course, we had faced one problematic situation that casual laborers all of a sudden came on roads, right? That was exactly the failure of the policy making also, that we forgot about them. Policy makers are exactly very, very important part of part of our economy. They are actually major part of our economy which are contributing towards GDP as well, right? So how we can even forget about them? So this is the failure that we have faced. Of course, migration pattern is also very important. This is about the policy relevance, which I've already told you. This is about the entire thing. Open consultation has been given as an invited by the policy makers, researchers, academic institutions, as well as general public as well, right? So this is what is important to take into consideration. This is what is important from an examination perspective also. Next news says DPDP, as in Digital Personal Data Protection Rules 2025 has been notified. Now, when I talk about this DPDP here is now, this is specifically related to what? Your digital personal data protection. Digital personal data protection is what? For example, we are having our personal data, right? We all are having our personal data and we try to share it many of the platforms as well, right? For example, e-commerce businesses हो गए, हम वहाँ पे share करते हैं, है ना? तो शेयर करने के बाद अब गवर्नमेंट बेसिकली क्या बोलती है कि वॉट एवर डेटा हैज बिन शेयर्ड ना, राइट, वॉट एवर डेटा हैज बिन शेयर्ड, you people need to take consent from the owner, as in from us itself, before you use the data, right? And that is what is the entire news here. This clearly means that DPDP law, or maybe act specifically, which was passed in the year of 2023, if you people remember, now it has been like, now it is fully active, right? This is what is the entire news. I've already told you why it is important. Basically जो हमारा entire structure है, ठीक है, जो हमारा personal data है, उसको बहुत ज़्यादा सिंपल करना, सिंपल टू अंडरस्टैंड, मे बी जो सिटीजन फोकस्ड है उसको रखना, सेफ फॉर द कंपनीज टू कीप इट एज वेल. दिस इज एंटायर एम ऑफ द कंपनी, दिस इज एंटायर एम ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट हियर, राइट? It's a complete nod for the individuals who are having our data. For example, the biggest, or I would say simplest example that I've given you is specifically e-commerce business. हम बहुत बार अपना डेटा जो है और हम मैनुअली डालते हैं ना, हम वहाँ पे खुद के जो है वो कंसेंट के साथ वहाँ पे फिल करते हैं. बट नाउ द गवर्नमेंट से दैट यू पीपल आर आल्सो हैविंग वन रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, राइट? If the owner is giving you data, before you people use it, you people have to ensure that you're using, after taking consent from the owner itself, right? So we are here, as in we are the data principals here. We are the one who are, whose data is getting collected here. And this is not something which is getting demanded. If this is not something which is, taken without any consent, of course, we are the one who filled it, right? Company, entity हो गया, data fiduciaries की अगर मैं बात करूँ, so of course ये organization जैसे बैंक हो गया, Google हो गया, e-commerce हो गया, right? जो हमारे पूरे डेटा को हैंडल करते हैं. नाउ जो लॉ है ना, ये थोड़ी सी ऑब्लिगेशंस उनके ऊपर पुट कर देता है. ऑब्लिगेशंस एज इन उनके जो है रूल्स, उनकी स्पेसिफिकली कुछ जो है रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज भी बनती है ना. तो यहाँ पे गवर्नमेंट बेसिकली क्या बोलती है, योर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी हियर इज to keep the data, consent proof, as in before you use the data, you people need to ensure that you are taking consent from that particular individual. Transparency has to be ensured. You people need to tell them, as well as in the owners also, why you are taking their data, right? For what purpose you're using it. So purposefulness is also very important. Data minimization is also very, very important here. Rather than giving them the extensive data, we have to ensure that minimum data is getting collected, right? Of course, जो बहुत ज़्यादा important data होगा, अगर ना ही collect हो तो बेहतर है. But minimizing it is actually very important. उसके साथ साथ it also talks about security also, right? So these are the areas which actually is very important. I've told about the consent, transparency is the one, purposefulness is one, minimization is the one. उसके साथ साथ security होनी चाहिए. और जो कंपनीज है वो अकाउंटेबल भी रहेंगी, राइट? सो दिस इज व्हाट इज द एंटायर न्यूज है. व्हेन आई टॉक अबाउट द रूल्स, ऑफ कोर्स दीज आर द वन हु आर गोइंग टू कंट्रोल ओवर द डेटा हियर, राइट? दैट इज व्हाट इज द एंटायर न्यूज अबाउट. यू कैन क्लियरली सी जो डीपीडीपी रूल्स है 2025 में, ऑफ कोर्स दे आर फुली एक्टिव नाउ. It has completed its full operationalization of DPDP Act 2003. It came in this year only, and now we see full active, getting, this particular act getting fully active. When I talk about this particular act, देखो ये comprehensively, like what it covers, digital personal data protection from framework it gives me, right? Now here, when I talk about the design, it is actually very saral. Saral means very simplified, right? Saral means what? Simplified in nature, right? Saral is a kind of Hindi word only which we use for simplified. If I say this is very simple in nature, the process is actually very simple in nature. It means I'll say the process, और ये जो सारा process है ना बहुत ज़्यादा सरल था, ठीक है? This is just Hindi meaning of it. Now when I talk about saral here, this means simple, accessible, rational, as well as actionable also. So this is important. Again, remember, simple, actionable as in accessible. Here it says rational and actionable as well, right? So 4 things are actually very important here. उसके साथ साथ जो language है, plain language is used, and illustrations for just easy compliance is also used here. Remember 7 core principles. So they can ask you that when it comes on to DPDP 2023, how many core principles are here? So these are 7 core principles, right? These are 7 core principles. And they can ask you, they can give you maybe 5 options. They can ask you which one is the incorrect among them, right? Which one is the odd one here. So remember, consent and transparency is important. What I've already told you. Purpose होना चाहिए, right? If you're using that data. You people need to tell them. For example, our data is present in banks also. Before using our data, banks need to tell us that, see, this has happened and this is the reason we're using your data, right? We're more than happy if you tell us the purpose. If that is purposeful, of course you can use our data also. डेटा मिनिमाइजेशन मतलब जो इंपॉर्टेंट डेटा है, जो बहुत ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट डेटा है, वो हर एक जगह ना दिया जाए. डेटा मिनिमाइजेशन को यू पीपल नीड टू इंश्योर. एक्यूरेसी शुड बी मेंटेन्ड हियर. उसके साथ साथ स्टोरेज लिमिटेशन, सिक्योरिटी सेफगार्ड एंड अकाउंटेबिलिटी हैज टू बी इंश्योर्ड बाय द कंपनीज हियर, राइट? And this is about the inclusive as well as consultative rule making also. Of course, when I talk about the consultation has been held in Delhi, Mumbai is the one, Guwahati, Kolkata, Hyderabad, Bengaluru and Chennai is also the one, right? Stakeholder inputs have been taken that include startups, MSME, industrial bodies, civil society, government departments have also been part of it, right? Now, this is the practical implementation of it. I request you people to just go through it by yourself also. The purpose here is to tell you exactly what is DPDP, right? Now, here it also says that safeguard will be given under this particular DPDP Act 2023 for safeguarding the interest of children and Divyangjans also. Divyangjans as in person who have with disabilities. So verifiable consent is actually very required before you process, as in banks or e-commerce companies, various of the companies process with whom, that is children's data. So this is what has been mentioned here, right? They clearly say that before you proceed with the information, it is exactly very important that you take their consent first and then only you use their data, right? Limitation exception है जहाँ पे हमने include करा है health care को, education को, real time safety को भी. So I hope you got an idea about it. चाहे वो दिव्यांगजन हो, चाहे वो persons with disability हो, all say before you use their data, you people need to tell them that why I'm using your data, right? और आपको ये भी इंश्योर करना पड़ेगा कि आप बहुत ज़्यादा लिमिटेड वे में उनका डेटा जो है वो यूज़ कर रहे हो, ठीक है? दिस इज अबाउट द ट्रांसपेरेंसी. आई हैव ऑलरेडी टोल्ड यू एवरीथिंग अबाउट इट, राइट? Now here it also says that Digital First Data Protection Board has been taken into consideration. When I talk about the board here, so it's a fully digital institution for specifically adjudication here. For example, if you have any of the complaint and you need to register it, of course you can go online, you can file your complaint, and it says, like the government says that of course frequently, like very like instantly, of course you people will be able to, like our policy, like our officials will be responding you as well, right? So this is what is the entire data. Now tell me, do you people have any doubt? Do you people have any doubt? किसी को भी कोई भी doubt है? Do you people have any doubt? Anyone here? Clear? All right. Next news says 16th Finance Commission submits report for 2631. Now I have told you many a times, like before, even like after you analyze, or if you're the one who have analyzed previous year questions already, you people will be knowing कि when there was an implementation, or when there was a time period, of 15th Finance Commission, of course one question was asked on that as well, right? So usually in paper you get such questions, right? जैसे मैंने जो प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन एनालिसिस करा है उसके अंदर एक 15th फाइनेंस कमीशन के ऊपर भी जो क्वेश्चन है वो पूछा गया है. जनरली जो यूपीएससी जैसे पेपर्स होते हैं उनमें भी क्वेश्चन जो है वो पूछे जाते हैं, ठीक है? Now I have already told you what are 15th finance, like what is specifically finance commission. So finance commission कुछ नहीं है, एक ऐसा बॉडी है, एक ऐसा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल बॉडी है, एक ऐसा स्ट्रॉन्ग बॉडी है जिसका पर्पस क्या है कि जितना भी हमारी गवर्नमेंट के पास एलोकेशन ऑफ मनी हुआ है, जितना भी हमारी गवर्नमेंट के पास कलेक्शन हुआ है मनी का, एंड दैट टू फ्रॉम टैक्सेस, फाइनेंस कमीशन इज द बॉडी विच हैज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल टू प्ले. It just ensures, it is having a big job to do here. It ensures that whatever money has been collected now, it should be distributed in a very equitable basis, right? Equitable basis as in whichever state, whichever decentralized government is in requirement of it, you people need to give them that, right? So अगर taxes collection हुए हैं and that too has been kept by the central government, of course finance commission is the one who just gives the formula. And for dividing what, that is huge money that has been collected from taxes. Huge money should be divided on an equivalent, not equally, but on an equitable basis, right? Equitable basis as in हमें ऐसा नहीं है कि हम राजस्थान को भी सेम दे रहे हैं, पंजाब को भी सेम दे रहे हैं, हिमाचल प्रदेश को भी सेम दे रहे हैं और बाकी स्टेट्स को भी सेम दे रहे हैं. नहीं, दिस नेवर हैपेंस. दिस इज ऑल अबाउट द इक्विटेबल पर्पस. इट मीन्स whatever is the requirement of that particular area, accordingly fund allocation will be given here, right? So what is the purpose here? The allocation of money, further allocation of money to states, to decentralized government, of money what that has been collected by the taxes, and that too by the central government here, right? And that is what is the entire report. So basically why it is in news, because when I talk about this finance commission here, of course a kind of report submission has been given to the president, and that is the reason it is in news, right? So 16th finance commission जो final report है इन्होंने submit कर दी है हमारे the president को, or accordingly of course their period is actually going to be started, right? 15th finance commission is going to be ended now, and 16th finance commission is going to be started. That period is going to be started right from 2026 से लेके 2031 तक, ठीक है? So यहाँ पे अप्रैल से लेके जो फाइनेंशियल ईयर है अप्रैल 1st 2026 से लेके 31st March 2031 तक it is actually going to go, because if you people remember, so it stays for 5 years, right? After the completion of 5 years, of course I have to change the formula, recommendations as well, right? So every commission give its own formulas and maybe recommendations as well, right? So this is what is the news here, right? I've already told you tax sharing takes place, and if you are the one who are from economics background, yeah, if you are the one who have already heard about the tax distribution, so there are two parts in it, right? One is vertical, one is horizontal also. Vertical clearly says that how much money has been collected maybe by the central government and how it has been distributed to all of the states collectively, right? If I talk about the current data, again, anyone please tell me what is the current data here? What is the current data here? When I talk about the vertical share, the money which has been collected by the central government, and it has to be like the money that has been collected should be given to all of the states collectively, right? So this is what is a vertical one. Alright, so currently it is actually 41% of the divisible pool itself, right? Now when I talk about the another part, we are having what? We are having one historical aspect, like specifically horizontal aspect as well. One is vertical, another one is horizontal also, right? So I've told you, Shivam, this is 41% of the divisible pool of the central share of the central taxes here, right? Now, when I talk about the horizontal one, always remember again, collection of data remains same, right? But this takes into consideration that how it should be divided among 28 states, right? And that is what is a tricky part here, right? When I talk about the horizontal share, it means that the data, like the collection which has been, collected by the central government, we have to now ensure that collective share should be divided among 28 states. That is what is the part here, right? So among all of the states, it should be collectively, divided here, and that too on an equivalent, equitable basis, sorry, right? Equitable basis, something which you people need to remember. Of course, grants and aids के लिए जो extra allocation of money है, that will be collected. Disaster funding के लिए extra allocation of money will be collected, right? So that is the reason it is actually in news, right? So I have told you already, submission has been done, and that is what is the main part associated with it. So this completely says that this is about the 16th Finance Commission, right? 10, 5 and 1, 16th Finance Commission. Finance Commission constituted by Honorable the President of India under Article 181 of the Constitution, and the chairperson is Dr. Arvind Panagaria. They can ask you directly one question from this. They can ask you who's the chairperson of 16th Finance Commission, right? So this name is actually important. Full members है, part time members है, और अगर मैं बाकियों की बात करूँ, of course they are also part of it. Date of constitution कितना है? That is 31st December 2023. This is a submission of report, right? The submission of report has been given to the president here, where the copies have been given to, of course, Union Finance Minister, Prime Minister as well. And when I talk about the period that has been covered here, that is going to be covered here, it includes 2026-27 से लेके 30-31 तक. Basically, it is going to stay for 5 years, right? हम बहुत बार ये बात करते हैं ना, जैसे अगर आपने बहुत ज़्यादा properly किसी भी news को पढ़ा होगा, तो हम बोलते हैं कि ये जो पर्टिकुलर न्यूज है इम्प्लीमेंट हुई है 5 years के लिए, बट इट इज फॉलोइंग 15th फाइनेंस कमीशन साइकिल. लाइक इफ यू पीपल हैव हर्ड अबाउट इट, इफ यू पीपल हैव इवन like read the statement anywhere, we usually say कि जो स्कीम का allocation period है that is usually 5 years and it is following 15th finance commission cycle. We usually say, just say this particular statement, right? and it is going to be ended by what time period? That is specifically 2026, right? So of course then we'll have what? That is 16th Finance Commission. So ये है mandate and terms of reference also. Basically distribution of net tax proceed between union and states is important. Allocation of respective shares among states is important. They are going to keep separate budget for grants and aid to states as well, and specifically if in case of disaster management help has to be provided. Measures what to augment consolidated fund of states, support to panchayats will be given, municipalities will also be given here, right? Along with that, I have told you, like one thing which I told you previously also, सेंट्रल स्पॉन्सर्ड सेंट्रल सेक्टर स्कीम्स के साथ जो प्रॉपर अलाइनमेंट है फाइनेंस कमीशन साइकिल्स की, इट इज गोइंग टू टेक केयर of that as well, right? Now this is the entire thing. The current tax devolution base rate is what? That is 41% to states here as per 15th Finance Commission, right? Now this is the entire thing which is important. दो volumes है इसके, recommendations वो corresponding to terms of reference, and next volumes includes annexes as well as annexures as well as supporting analysis also. This is not important, but yes, the other part is important. कब 16th Finance Commission implement होने वाला है? 2026 से. Financial year 2026, financial year 2026 से लेके financial year, just stop writing financial year, let's stop writing, March 31st 3031, right? This is what is important, and this is 16th Finance Commission. You remember, direct question can be asked. Now here it says what is the trade performance October 2025 and April to October 2025 as well, right? So April से लेके जो हमारा December, जो हमारा October तक का data है, this is the complete story here. Now again telling you, entirely important from phase 1 perspective only. There are actually less chances that you people will get a question on trade part specifically. अगर question पूछा जाता है, so you people can mention this as an example there, right? You can clearly mention it there. Now this says कि जो total exports है, that includes merchandise, that includes services, this is just equivalent to 491.80 billion. और यहाँ पे अगर मैं अप्रैल से लेके अक्टूबर की बात करूँ, that has been 469.11 billion, right? इसमें से ग्रोथ कितना हुआ है? ग्रोथ इज स्पेसिफिकली 4.84%. टोटल इंपोर्ट्स कितने हैं? 569.95 बिलियन है. ग्रोथ कितना हुआ है? 5.74%. ट्रेड बैलेंस कितना है? दैट इंक्लूड्स 78.14 बिलियन. बट इफ यू पीपल आस्क मी लाइक बिफोर, you people ask me कि मैम are we in surplus या फिर are we in deficit? Of course we are in deficit only, and I would say that imports as compared to last year has been increased now, right? This clearly says exports जो है वो थोड़े से जो growth है वो माइनस में गई है, ठीक है. बट अगर मैं imports की बात करूँ, growth जो है 14.87% से हुई है, right? Again, like bravo here. When we talk about many of the initiatives that are specifically related to trade, when we talk about AI, when we talk about other things, still the export part is very less as compared to the import parts. Imports are getting increased, but the exports are getting decreased, right? So people need to ensure this. Policy makers specifically need to be answerable as well. Trade balance की अगर मैं बात करूँ, so yes, deficit में है. अगर मैं deficit की बात करूँ, कितना deficit है? That includes 21.80 billion US dollars, right? This is important. उसके साथ साथ merchandise trade. What is the status of merchandise trade now? This is 34.38 billion. Merchandise imports are equivalent to 76.6 billion. You just see the gap here, right? You just try to see the gap here, which is persistent, right? Along with that, merchandise exports, this includes 254.25 billion, and merchandise imports are what? That is 451.08 again billion here. So again you can get to see here that still imports are more than what? That is exports, and then of course we'll have trade balance here. Now when I try to compare the situation with the previous year, so in 2024 we had a trade balance. This used to be 171.40 billion only, as compared to this 2025 में कितना है? This is 196.82 billion. This is actually very huge in number, right? Now here this is specifically about the non-petroleum exports and imports as well. I request you all to just go through this entire data by yourself also. No one knows a question can be asked. अगर question पूछा जाएगा entirely phase 1 से पूछा जाएगा, otherwise जो है question नहीं पूछा जाएगा, ठीक है? This is about the non-petroleum exports specifically of April to October month. Services is important, right? You can clearly see when I talk about the services here, of course, this is just equivalent to what? That is 38.52 billion here. और हमने अगर मैं स्पेसिफिकली अक्टूबर मंथ की बात करूँ, 2024 की बात करूँ, हमने क्या एक्सपोर्ट करा है, दैट इज इक्वलेंट टू 34.41 बिलियन, राइट. दिस इज important. And along with that, these are actually about the imports as well as exports also, specifically of services का मैंने पहले बता दिया, तो I'm not repeating it again, right. Now again you can clearly see cashews में there is increase here, as in increase by this 126.85%, meat 30.87%, electronic goods 19.05%, other cereals 14.71%, marine products 11.08%, coffee, that includes $0.13 billion, right. So this is what is important, and this is an information about entire specifically those products which have shown me negative performance, right. You can clearly see pearls, precious as well as semi-precious stones, negative performance, petroleum crude products, negative performance, pulp, waste paper, iron and steel, newspaper, pulses, coke, coal and briquettes as well, negative performance, artificial resins, plastic material, negative performance, wood products, negative performance, textile and yarns, right, negative performance. And this is the concerning situation, right. When my textile sector is not at all growing or doesn't want to grow, so how we can ensure growth of the entire country as well, right. So this is what is the entire data. Rest of the data I want you people to just see by yourself here, right. All right, anyone having any doubt till now? Now we are going to go with this electronic development fund. This actually includes a lot of terminologies which are very important to decode. I'll be decoding it to the fullest so that you people understand it, right. Now before that, you people just let me know, do you have any doubt here? All right, so before I proceed, all right, maybe later, if that is not relevant, that is not specifically related to this particular news, maybe later after the completion of this particular entire news, at last you can ask me, right. Okay, if something is related to this particular news only, let's not break the the pattern here, as in let's not break the entire flow which is going on. Let's continue with the news first, and these kind of questions we can consider at the end of the video as well, right. All right, okay, thank you. So here the news is all about what, that is electronics development fund. Now always remember, when I talk about the electronics development fund, this is specifically allocation of budget, या फिर allocation of budget which is being given to the specific fund here. Why this fund is even important, why this fund is very crucial, very important for my economy, because the fund allocation which has been done here, through that government tries to support tech innovation and startups as well, right. Basically the government says that I want to give boost to my business entrepreneurship initiatives, I want to give boost to my startup ecosystem also. For that I want easy availability of funds, right. The entire aim is what, that is making India a global hub, maybe for designing, manufacturing, electronics, IT products, services as well, right. Now this particular fund, which is electronics development fund itself, this supports entrepreneurship, this supports startup ecosystem here, and that too in these high tech fields itself, which I've already told you, right. It was initiated during the time period of 2016, and since then it is actually giving a benefit. This is what has been specifically mentioned in this entire report, right. Now if you people as in when I'll go with the entire lecture here, as in when I'll show you entire PPTs here, this is actually associated with a few of the terminologies, right. Now it clearly says that the government is not, because what I told you, it consists of fund allocation, right. The government says I'm going to collect one fund and I'll be investing on startup. This is what I've told you, right. But direct investment is not done here, direct fund allocation is not done here, right. When I talk about the direct allocation, of course it is not part of it, but indirectly government is investing here, as in government is providing funds. Now how indirectly, and what are the important terms associated with it? Always remember, when I talk about the electronics development fund here, few of the terms are associated with it, that is maybe parent funds, daughter funds ho gaya, mother funds ho gaya, fund on funds bhi ho gaya. Now I'll give you a very simple example. You people just let me know after the completion of the entire news if you got the clarity or not, right. consider electronics development fund maybe as equivalent to baking a cake only, right? For example, government is the one who's baking the cake, मतलब जो entire जो fund जो है वो आपने क्या करना है ना, I'll take a simple example. I'll try my best so that I can tell you. I'm trying to include it in a very layman language. I'm trying to decode it in a very layman language. Let's see if I become successful in that or not, right? So here, let's try to relate with something which is maybe equivalent to baking a cake, right? For example, you're having your bakery, you're having ample resources. Matlab, you are having money. You want to open your bakery. Now, for example, Shivam is the one who wants to like open one bakery which should be best in the entire city, right? Although Shivam is not at all expert in baking cakes, right? But the one wants to what? Open one bakery, right? Now Shivam, since Shivam is having ample of funds here, Shivam wants to do what? That is open a bakery, right? So baking a cake is going to be an example here. Maybe running a professional kitchen can also be an example here, right? Now what I told you, that is specifically a kind of word related to fund on funds, mother funds, parent fund as well. Now when I'm using these words, consider Shivam is the one who's a chef, right? Shivam is the one who's an owner of the entire bakery also, right? The one is running, I would say, successful business. The one is running successful restaurant as well. And in that restaurant, Shivam is the one who wants to bring an availability of maybe bakery aspects also, right? Bakery food वगैरह हो गया, जैसे breads हो गया, cakes हो गया, but the entire focus is on cake itself, right? Now electronic development funds, I've already told you this, right? Consider कि ये जो हमारा इलेक्ट्रॉनिक डेवलपमेंट फंड है ना, ये क्या है, एक टॉप लेवल का फंड है, ठीक है, जो कि किसके पास है, यहाँ पे शिवम के पास है. शिवम इज हैविंग अ लॉट ऑफ मनी, right? And the general goal is what? To make best, or I would say biggest dessert bakery in the entire city. This is what is the main aim of Shivam here. But Shivam is also the one who doesn't know how to bake cakes. So of course, how will Shivam be able to achieve the goal here? Of course, Shivam will go to experts, will try to hire, will try to finance the best specialized bakers. Shivam is having no, specifically when I talk about the, money part here, Shivam is not at all lacking in funds. Shivam is having ample of funds. Shivam is already, all ready to allocate maximum money also, right? So what Shivam is going to do? To specifically pick up, find out maybe after proper filtration, Shivam is going to find out best of the bakers, best and bestest of the bakers, and Shivam is the one who's going to done all right. Shivam is the one who's going to finance them like in a very good way also, right? So यहाँ पे ये क्या होगा? ये है fund on funds, as in this is a daughter fund as well. Like specifically when I talk about it, this is a mother fund as well, right? Parent fund, daughter fund, मतलब वो वाला fund जो कि एकदम fullest है, ठीक है, जिसके पास अपना जो fund allocation है वो भर भर के है. अब क्या आएगा यहाँ पे? डॉटर फंड आएगा, ठीक है. डॉटर फंड क्या होता है? छोटा है ना, फैमिली में छोटा. डॉटर जो है वो किसका है? पेरेंट फंड का जो है वो आगे पार्ट है. मतलब यहाँ पे डॉटर फंड्स की हम बात करने लगे हैं. सो हम यहाँ पे एनालॉजी क्या लेंगे कि ये जो जो डॉटर फंड है, इट इज मोर एसोसिएटेड विद स्पेशलाइज्ड बेकर फॉर से, राइट? शिवम इज गोइंग टू हायर स्पेशलाइज्ड बेकर्स. सो स्पेशलाइज्ड बेकर यहाँ पे क्या होंगे? डॉटर फंड के साथ एसोसिएटेड होंगे. सिंपल मीनिंग यहाँ पे क्या होगा कि फॉर एग्जाम्पल के अगर मैं यहाँ पे बेकर फंड्स की फॉर एग्जांपल बात करूँ, हो सकता है प्रोफेशनल्स हो, ठीक है. नाउ यू कैन ट्राई टू एसोसिएट विद द वेंचर कैपिटल्स आल्सो, राइट? Maybe specifically 8 funds of EDFs as well, because when I talk about EDFs here na, it is associated with 8 funds where EDF is exactly going to invest in, right? So consider it as equivalent to what? Like specifically प्रोफेशनल वेंचर कैपिटल्स, जहाँ पे ये क्या करेंगे? ये एक्सपर्ट्स हैं जिनको अपने काम का बहुत अच्छे तरीके से पता है, ठीक है. तो यहाँ पे ईडीएफ क्या हुआ? पेरेंट फंड क्या हुआ? मतलब हमारा शिवम, ठीक है, शिवम जिसके पास भर भर के फंड्स अवेलेबल हैं. अब उसके बाद हो सकता है केवलिन, राइट? केवलिन क्या है? एक डॉटर फंड है. मतलब केवलिन है एक्सपर्ट, शेफ है, प्रॉपर एक्सपर्ट है, जिसको शिवम जो है वो मनी ट्रांसफर करेगा, फाइनेंस जो है वो प्रॉपरली प्रोवाइड करेगा, ठीक है. तो यहाँ पे मैंने किसका एग्जांपल लिया? जो 8 फंड्स एसोसिएटेड है हमारे ईडीएफ्स के साथ. आई ट्राई टू गिव यू द मीनिंग ऑफ इट इन द कमिंग स्लाइड्स हियर, राइट? सो दिस इज व्हाट इज द दिस इज व्हाट इज द डॉटर फंड्स हियर. अब बेसिकली जॉब क्या है कि जो हेड शेफ है ना, जो हमारा शिवम है, उसने रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी दे दी हमारे केवलिन को. उन्होंने क्या बोला कि सी पेस्ट्री शेफ, सी expert chef, you need to use their expertise, like you people need to use your expertise to prepare one of the best cakes, and that too in the entire city, right? अब आप अपने काम में स्पेशलाइज हो, आपको एक ऐसा केक बेक करना है जो कि पूरी सिटी में बेस्ट इंग्रेडिएंट से भरा हो, बेस्ट स्टार्टअप जो है हमें क्रिएट करना है, उसके लिए आपको एक बेहतर तरीके से जो केक है वो बनाना है, ठीक है। स्टार्टअप के बारे में आपको ऑलरेडी पता है, स्टार्टअप बेसिकली होता क्या है कि जो हम बिजनेस स्टार्ट करना चाहते हैं, दैट इज अ स्टार्टअप हियर, फॉर एग्जांपल बेकरी इटसेल्फ, राइट। सो आई होप यू गॉट अ क्लैरिटी हियर। बेसिकली पेरेंट और मे बी मदर फंड्स बेसिकली क्या है, जो हमने हेड शेफ जो हमारा शिवम है वो है पेरेंट फंड, मतलब जो ईडीएफ है वो यहाँ पे पेरेंट फंड है, ठीक है। और अगर मैं यहाँ पे स्पेसिफिकली यूनिकॉर्न इंडियन वेंचर्स की बात करूं, या फिर जो हमारे जो वीसीज है, अगर मैं प्रोफेशनल वीसीज की बात करूं, वो क्या है यहाँ पे डॉटर फंड की तरह रिएक्ट करते हैं, डॉटर फंड की तरह जो है वो जो है वो स्पेसिफिकली रोल प्ले करते हैं। किस पर्पस के लिए? ताकि परफेक्टली जो है वो अपना काम कर सके, क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट बेसिकली अगर ईडीएफ कंप्लीट भी कराए, ठीक है, अगर एलोकेशन ऑफ फंड है भी है, तब भी गवर्नमेंट जो है इन कामों में एक्सपर्ट नहीं है, उनको फाइनेंशियल एक्सपर्ट्स है उनको हायर करना पड़ेगा, राइट। सो ऑफ कोर्स व्हेन आई टॉक अबाउट द वेंचर कैपिटल्स हियर, दे आर प्रोफेशनल वन, दे नो एग्जैक्टली, राइट, दैट वेयर टू इन्वेस्ट, व्हाट अमाउंट टू इन्वेस्ट, राइट। सो दैट इज वन ऑफ द स्पेसिफिकेशंस हियर वी आर हैविंग related to these funds as well, right? So I told you what is parent mother fund, I told you what is daughter fund as well, right? So money flow is exactly going to take place here, as in EDFs are going to invest in 8 specifically daughter funds here, ठीक है। So I hope you got in clarity here. Everyone got clarity? Everyone got clarity here? अब फाइनल प्रोडक्ट क्या होगा कि जो हमारे 8 जो हमारे जो हमारे ETFs के अंदर जो है हमारे जो 8 एक्सपर्टीज है वो आगे आगे इन्वेस्ट करते रहेंगे। सभी को समझ आया? What is the meaning of parent fund? What is the completely understood? Exactly. The experts here, right? What I mean to say here is specifically experts, right? Although why I gave you this particular example, because EDF is more associated with government, but government is not at all expert in this particular work, right? Of course, they are the one who are going to hire further experts here. That is what is the entire news, right? Electronics सेक्टर के अंदर जो है हमें रैपिडली इन्वेस्ट करने की नीड है, दैट इज व्हाट इज द फंड एलोकेशन हियर। इट वाज स्टार्टेड ड्यूरिंग द टाइम पीरियड ऑफ 2016। व्हाट इज द पर्पस हियर? रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट के अंदर इन्वेस्ट करना, इनोवेशन एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप के अंदर इन्वेस्ट करना, एंड दैट वाज स्पेसिफिकली रिलेटेड टू इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स, नैनो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स, इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी। ईडीएफ आई हैव ऑलरेडी टोल्ड यू व्हाट इज दैट फंड ऑन फंड्स मॉडल, मतलब डायरेक्ट फंडिंग विल नॉट बी गिवन, but this is fund and funds model itself. They are the one who are going to hire experts, and then accordingly they will be implementing things on a further level as well, right? Now here the objective is all clear. Operational, I have told you already what is that. Anchor investment की अगर मैं बात करूँ, so Ministry of Electronics and IT is going to perform here. METI is the one. Along with that, trustee and settler sponsor कौन है? That is Canara Bank itself, and of course one subsidiary of it, that is Can Bank Venture Capital Funds Limited. This is subsidiary of Canara Bank here, right? This is what you people need to remember. 100% जो है वो subsidiary associated है. I've told you what is daughter funds. It should be registered in India. Of course, the one who is handled by SEBI here. That is important. Participation के बारे में मैंने पहले बता दिया. Financial progress, this is important. Total contribution withdrawn by ADF is what? That is 216.33 crores. From METI, how much has been taken into consideration? 210.33 crores, right? This is about the total EDF. This is about the total funds, and this is about the total startups which have been initiated here. So if that is 128, so what will happen? EDF, as in this is associated with funds on funds, they are going to approach further 8 expertise here, और 8 एक्सपर्टीज आगे क्या करेंगे? यहाँ पे जो 128 स्टार्टअप्स है ना, इसके अंदर एलोकेशन प्रॉपरली करेंगे. दिस इज हाउ द एंटायर चेन इज गोइंग टू बी, राइट? Now here what is important is this particular chart. These are the daughter funds here, right? Daughter funds are 8 here. This includes Unicorn India Venture Trust, Aruha Technology Fund is the one, then India Seed Co-Recognition, sorry, Co-Creation Fund is the one, Care Same Vein Fund is the one, Pi Ventures Fund 1 is the one, your Nest India Venture Capital Fund 2 is the one. Of course, Venture East Proactive Fund 2 is the one. Xfinity Technology Fund Series 2 is the one, right? This is the amount which have been invested by EDF, daughter fund investment here, and total number of startups here, which is equivalent to 128. Got an idea? I've told you what is EDF. Here they are going to invest further in 8 daughter funds here, and these 8 daughter funds are going to further invest in 128 startups. Clear? So although the purpose of EDF is to invest in startups, but directly investment is not taken into consideration, but indirectly, right? Firstly, EDF, that is government, is going to approach these 8 daughter funds, and these 8 daughter funds are going to invest specifically in these 128 startups here. Got a clarity? Everyone having any even single doubt? Anyone having even any single doubt? I hope all clear. All right. So this says, exactly. So this completely see, the first question says that Electronics Development Fund was launched on which date? Is it 2015, 16, 17, 18, or 19? Very simple. Good. So B exactly is the correct answer. All right. Which ministry acts as the anchor, investor for Electronics Development Fund? Is it Ministry of Finance, Commerce and Industry, Electronics and Information Technology, Science and Technology, for MSME? Come on, be very quick. We are already out of time. See, good. Alright, this EDF has invested how much in daughter funds? Is it 210.33 crore, 216, 257, 310, या फिर 1335.77 crores? Okay, anyone else? Okay, good. So this is 257.77 crore. All right. This says which organization is the trustee and settler sponsor of the EDF here? Is it SEBI, NABARD, Canara Bank, SBI Capital, या फिर Exim? Come on, be very quick. We are already out of time. All right, good. So C is the correct answer. All right. So thank you so much for joining the session. I am ending the session here. Anyone having any doubt, even specifically those individuals who are going to join my session after the live ends, those individuals specifically can mention your doubts in the comment section, right? All right. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.